like that train shit that's going on in like Ohio and Michigan.
So here's the thing. I have no fucking clue what's going on.
Oh, no way. Nobody does.
No. So you can inform me first.
So a train derailed in East Palestine, Ohio.
Okay.
Which is my college roommate, and I was the best man in his wedding. He's from East Palestine. It's in the middle of nowhere, and like it's not like they didn't get ability to have internet until I was maybe senior in college, so like 2012.
They didn't have internet there?
So they had like satellite internet. Like you could get through like DirecTV, but you couldn't stream Netflix or anything. Like that's
Really?
slow. Yeah, like you could get on like Facebook. Like it was like 3G on your phone internet.
That's like out of a movie bad.
Yeah. It was a wild place. And I had been there a couple times. It's literally the middle of nowhere. Like cell phones didn't work.
How far away from like civilization, let's call it, was it?
45 minutes.
But that's not that bad.
I mean, it's not, but it's one of those, you ever hang out with like an old person, and not even an old person, but you know, like somebody who says they're old, like your parents.
Yeah.
I don't know if your parents do this, but my parents, like my mom is like, I mean, the last time I hung out with her was forever ago, but like she's like in her 60s now, and she's like, I'm just too old to like learn new things.
Yes.
And
Is
you're
that
like,
what that town is? Just
Yes.
never learn new things? Okay.
Yes.
That's a great description.
Yes, it's just like we've been like this old school like fucking roadhouse town for like ever, and now we're gonna like keep doing that. Roadhouse Kids is a movie from the 80s with Patrick Swayze. It was an old movie when I was born. Like it's not. I should not reference Swayze movies as much as I do.
No, definitely not. Because I think my demographic is anywhere between 16 and 28. So
that's a very pop punk demographic.
I have a few. Like it's like 2% is over 65. I don't know who that is. I think those are people who stumble on it by accident. The East Palestinos, whatever. Is it Palestine?
It is Palestine. That's like the big thing.
I thought it was Palestino because you said Ohio right afterwards. I was like, Palestino is kind of...
Yeah, it kind of like flows in there. But like people have been calling it East Palestine because it's spelled the same way.
That's what I thought it would...
And you learn very quickly it's Palestine. But like, it's like a stone's throw across the PA border. Like before you could get... have you had Yingling? Is that a thing that Wisconsin has? Okay.
They don't have it here. I've had it in Tennessee.
Okay. So that makes sense. So
it's a good beer.
They couldn't have it, like, it was not in Ohio for the longest. Like, they just didn't distribute it to Ohio. Like, still when I was in college, they didn't. So when he would, like, go home for the weekend, he would just go into PA, buy a shitload, and bring it back. Because it just, like, wasn't... Like, it's like Spotted Cow. Yes.
It's a Spotted Cow here, yeah.
Except for, like, it's, like, widely distributed now.
Yeah.
But yeah, and then so like they had like a bunch of like chemicals and shit on this train, and it like just fell off the tracks or something, and then they said that like it was going to explode, so they wanted to do a controlled burn, so they like burnt 5 of these rail cars filled with like some sort of like potassium,
Chemicals?
Yeah, like some potassium chloride or some crazy fucking chemical. And then, like, the pictures of it are wild. There's, like, a mushroom cloud over fucking East Palestine. And, like, people weren't allowed to, like, go back to their houses for a while. They're allowed to go back now. But, like, people are, like, complaining about, like, wild headaches and, like, crazy reactions to it. And then just, like, 2 days ago, the same from Norfolk Southern, that's the company, another one of their trains derailed in Michigan. Like, carrying, like, the same shit. I know.
Yeah.
There's some shenanigans afoot.
Can't say too much. It's going on the internet. We might get shot down after this, like one of those balloons.
Like it's been, but like it's been one of those like crazy things where it's like, you know, when like crazy like right wing people are like the media is not covering it, like legit, like it's not on the news. Like I saw it on like Spectrum 1.
I've seen pictures of it, and then I mean, I don't have cable or anything like that, and my Instagram feed is not newsworthy stuff at all.
Yeah.
It's stuff that would probably put me in a mental hospital. But
that's fine.
Yeah, I've seen pictures, but I had no idea what was going on.
Yeah, and like the EPA says it's fine to be back there, and like all these people are having these reactions, and they can't make it a a natural disaster, like a national disaster, whatever, to get like the federal funds and all this shit to help clean it up.
Maybe it's
like
a new COVID cure.
That's what, dude.
It's a vaccine.
I said that today on my stupid podcast, Comedy and Mushroom Cult Podcast. But like, I was like, we're going to have to get like a new vaccine for whatever's in this shit. Because they're not going to put it on the news unless there's like some sort of cure, because the news is run by Pfizer. Open your third eyes, people. What is it? You're not supposed to talk about stuff like that in the first 5 minutes of the podcast?
Yeah, I think we already got taken off of YouTube.
That's fine. We'll shuffle it through. Just like take this.
Just fast forward, YouTube. Fast forward.
Tarantino this and like put it in. Find some cute
actually,
shit.
we said that at 5:30, so we might be good.
Hey.
We might be good.
Hey. Look at us, professional.
Just we on the we know a tight 5 when we see one.
Oh, dude, I've been like fucking having to do like real sets again lately, and it's like, yeah, I don't. So you know when you go from like doing like 3 and 4 minute spots at mics, and then somebody's just like, hey, come feature on a Tuesday, and you're like, I haven't run my 20-25 in fucking months, but okay. Like I've run like my 10 or my 15, and I've been like working on a bunch of new shit. So then it's like, hey, let's do like your best 20 to 25. So maybe you can do this again. You're like, God damn it. I haven't told this joke in forever.
Yeah, mine. Well, luckily I almost died. So I have a decent amount of stuff. I have a decent amount of stuff that I can try out. And I've kind of just don't care anymore.
That's a good spot to be in though.
But I do like, I care enough where like I've taken what I thought was going to be, I'm going to have 10 minutes on my appendix almost killing me, and then the worst day in the hospital ever. And I was like, I just kept doing it, and I was like, okay. And I've edited it so much that it has nothing to do with it anymore. So I care to that point.
Yeah.
But I don't care to like try. Like,
that's
the last one I got when you said,
yeah,
doing all of a sudden you're getting asked to do more time. I hadn't done anything for a month. Mm-hmm. And then when I would do spots, it would be at Maddie's. So like, how much time do you want? Do you want 3 minutes or do you want 35? And
right.
Like, I don't fucking know what I'm doing. Or I was doing guest spots, and then I had a 15-minute spot. And I was like, I'm just going to do stuff I've never done before. I got on a table and told a story of me pulling a piece of steak out of my ass. I literally just got in this guy's face and was just like, it was like this. I'm like, eh.
Did it go well?
No. Well, it wasn't bad. It's one of those venues that it's like a bowling alley. And the front of the audience hears you. The back of the audience
here's bowling.
It wasn't. Basically bowling. It was a bar. Yeah. But it was just real narrow, and if they're talking, they can't hear you.
But once you get into when you're. I love that phase, and I'm kind of in it right now of like a weird creation phase of like I hate everything that I've written over like the past 8 years, but like I still have to run it. But like I'm also like Maddie's fucking rules for this. Like, like you said, do you want to do 3 minutes or do you want to like go up there for a week? Like
exactly,
you can do whatever.
First time I went there, like how much time do you want? I go, what?
Yeah.
Like how much time do you want? 10, 15? I go, how long is this show? He goes, well, there's 4 of us here, so it can be as long as we fucking want.
Well, there used to be people at that show. Like the first few, like I didn't go like the first 2 times because it was like after my accident and I just couldn't like drive.
Look at us staying alive.
Dude.
Look at us.
I felt so bad bitching about my shit, and then you're like, yeah, man, my body just like shut down. I was like, all right, sick, you win. Like, but it was like the first time I went there, it was like there were people. It was a Tuesday. And I like got good clips out of it, and I'm not like a clip guy anyways, but like I got a couple good clips out of it. It was like a good fuck around room where you can work on new stuff, and like, but like I would do like, all right, light me at 8 minutes, so like I at least know where I'm at,
where you're at, yeah.
And then like I would wrap it up before like 15 or whatever, and I would like go in there and just like do all these new things, and like they would work, some wouldn't, but you have like time to like zhuzh it up a bit.
Piece things together is what I like.
Yes, like the 4 minute, like, and I'll do it at like Bremen, like the 3 minute Bremen set is like, I know I want to work on like this joke and another half premise that I have. Like I can, and that like makes you work on that quickly, where like there's something cool to like just go up there and do whatever the fuck and like still try to make it interesting,
Those are good for me because my stuff's all longer.
Yeah.
So I can put two together, and it's nice.
And so like you can like, and it leaves like some air in there. And I would always be like, I'm gonna do like the first half I'm gonna fuck around, and then I'm gonna give you jokes that I know work. So like I get my part out of it. The people who are there get their part out of it, and then like it works out. Like it's fun. You give a little, you get a little.
I heard it was a sold out room for the Valentine's show, so I'm hoping that on a Tuesday
kicks it back up.
Hopefully people are like, oh, we're gonna come out and do this. And I mean, Reagan headline, so
she fucking rips anyways.
So I'm sure we might get some female audience members there.
Well, that whole like, it always sounds like pandering, and it shouldn't. But like the Milwaukee comedy scene, like I would say that the women are better than the men. Like as a collective, like there's a bunch of crushers in like the female side of it that I would much rather see than a bunch of the guys. Because like
there's just a smaller sample size.
Well, there's also that, but like any other scene that you go into, there's usually like one or two good females, and then like a bunch of like, and I mean it's the same. It like numbers wise, it's the same percentage of like good guys to like shitty guys, but like with like the females in most like scenes, it's this like it's more obvious because there's like 7, so like if one's really good, like 3 are okay, and then like the other 3 are ass. Like it's easier to like tell.
Yeah,
where like
fair.
I would say like our 10 women or whatever, however many it is, if I'm forgetting somebody,
I have no idea.
I would say are above average to like everywhere else.
That's fair. I think there's something to be said about doing it in Milwaukee versus like everyone who just starts doing like comedy on state every week.
Yeah, and that's a
little grit. You get a little grit in you.
Well, and it's also like Comedy on State is such a good club, and like because the one that I started at, like Hilarities, is like Ohio's Comedy on State, and they don't have like an open mic. Like they have like showcases from time to time, and they are like good to local talent. Like if you're hanging around and they see you be funny, like there's like the side room that's the cabaret. Like they'll have shit like that they'll like give people guest spots and give them shots. But like there's not like a Wednesday new talent open mic thing. The only one that there was, it's called the Funny Stop in Cuyahoga Falls. Shout out Pete if he sees this. It's a club, but it's also like filled with crackheads.
Do you think comedy clubs, like, unless I guess if you have a name, but like, and by name I mean you have some reputation, like, do they have to be named the Funny Bone, the Laugh Factory, Funny Spot, the Chuckle Hut? Like, can we not just be like, we're going down to Mike's, it's a great comedy club? I
think because there's fucking,
like, it just seems a little corny to me. But then again, it's like, how else are you going to know there's comedy there?
Well, there's like Acme Comedy Club up in Minneapolis. So like people just call that Acme. Skyline is Skyline, like Summit City. I think it's because like you have to say it's a comedy club. But like, I mean like Comedy on State is a good one.
I just don't like the laugh, the chuckle, the funny, any in that. Like,
and I mean it's like the Funny Bones are always like, and then there's like God, what's the one that I've done a couple times or once? Whatever, it doesn't matter. But like, so like whatever. They would have like a Wednesday open mic where if you just like show up or you call ahead, you used to have to bring 5 people just so like they could make money. And then like you just start going, and like I never brought 5 people, and you'd just be like, why don't you ever bring anybody? It's like all of my friends are comics. That's why. Like
I brought you 15. They're all on the list.
Like these are all of my friends. And like it would be like a comedy competition to get like new people like suckered into like coming back and bringing people. And it's like a smart way to like drum up business.
It is,
but it's also like a good, like it's that good middle ground of like Comedy on State. It's too shiny. It's too clean. The crowd's already fired up, ready to go. Like it's a Wednesday and it's sold out.
Yeah.
Like packed. Like people were like, I couldn't go watch the show. Last time I was there, me and Corey had to sit in the bar. Like that's where there was room. And then, but then you have people who are like brand new going up, and like the crowd's like so forgiving.
Oh, so forgiving.
Like and it's like a good spot for clips. It's a good spot to do
It's got a good background.
And it's a famous background. That's like the last time I was up there, I did a joke. I had already put clips out, clip out of. I deleted the last one, put this one up because I wanted
there's a legitimacy to a background for sure. Because I could do the same joke here to 100 people and laugh, but having that background behind you, people who see it on the internet go, "Oh, he's supposed to be there," not like he just got lucky.
Red Room Comedy Club in Chicago. I was hunting for places for cool Instagram pictures. If I saw a buddy of mine doing like an open mic and got like a picture up there, I'd be like, "Oh, that's a cool spot."
Yeah.
Like it's like, and that's a fun little room when there's people in it, but it's also like it looks cooler online than it is in person, which is a lot of places. Like
so many places. The perception you have, like if you ever look at like you Google a restaurant and you're like, I wonder what this place. Oh, this looks fun. You get there, I'm like, this is not even close. That's also like retail or real estate photography.
Yes,
those people are phenomenal at
like
their job.
Staging and shit.
Oh my god, how many apartments have you toured? I'm like, dude, this place looks huge. You get there and it's like, this is a shoebox.
The place that I'm living, like we did, we couldn't, like it was COVID. And we lived 8 hours away, so it's like I'm not gonna come up to fucking Waukesha, Wisconsin, and look around apartments. So the dude it's a 1-bedroom. He's like, we knew it's a 1-bedroom. We knew the square footage. Whatever it says on paper is one thing, but like somebody walking around with like their phone and like doing it a certain way, you're like, oh, that looks bigger than it is. And then you go and move in and you're like, I have no room for any of my shit.
And square footage is a tricky bitch too, because it's like, all right, 1,200 square feet. Where are those square feet though?
Yeah.
Because like half of it is storage closets that got my water heater and my laundry machine and all that. No, have you ever had so we toured this place where we live, like right here right now.
Yeah.
And
you want to give out the address?
Yeah, 10000. Go fuck yourself.
I mean, there's 1,000 apartments in here. You can give away the building.
There's actually not that many apartments here.
I mean, there's a bunch of floors.
Yeah. It wouldn't be that hard to figure this one out.
Sorry.
No one come visit me, please. But so we toured this place, and this was the staged one. So they already had stuff in here, which is, by the way, if you're going to tour like a property manager, have some apartments staged. You're going to sell it way easier because you see potential already. So I'm like, oh, this is great. We could do this here, this here. Just a blank space. You're like,
what is it?
It's got to, you got to be wowed by it. So this is a stage one, and they had it staged where there was like so much space in here. Yeah. It looks so nice. And I remember when we moved in, they had cleared everything out, and we walked in, and I was like, this is half the size of what I fucking remember.
But then when you put shit in it, a lot of places,
it weirdly gets bigger.
Yes. Yeah. It's like a perception. Because, I mean, this isn't small. Like, our apartment, yes, it's small, but, like, when we actually, like, put shit in it, it was like, oh, like, this is livable.
Oh, yeah.
Like, you just think, like, a couch is bigger than it is.
You get used to it because this couch is unnecessarily big for this apartment. Right. But now it works for me. Like, we had this tiny little like love seat here, and my roommate sold it. Drove down to Illinois, got this. It was a fucking disaster trying to get this couch. I'll save the 20-minute story. But we get it in here at like 1 o'clock in the morning, and we put it together on like a Wednesday, and we're like, dude, it's too fucking big. Yeah. And so we could remove one of those things we put in the closet. I'm like, no, it's too small. And you gave it 3 days, like, oh, this fits just right.
Well, that's in my first apartment in college, like going from the dorms and then like going to like a shitty apartment, whatever. But like the first, like, this is where I'm going to live as an adult for a little bit. The girl that I was dating at the time, she didn't want to spend like $600-700 on a couch, which is cheap for a couch. Yeah. Oh, that's like a decent couch. So she's like, I have one in my mom's basement that has been there. And we live 2 hours away.
Yeah.
So I had to like rent we drove back to Toledo, rented a U-Haul truck to like drive back to Kent and fucking like go down in this basement. It's covered in fucking like spiders and shit because like nobody cleaned it up. Like we tore half of it, taking it up the stairs and packing it into this U-Haul. The U-Haul itself cost like $300. I was
gonna say, between U-Haul, time, and gas, you might as well just bought a brand new couch that wasn't infested with shit.
And not had to do that. And like then she was pissed that we had a ripped couch. And I was like, you're pissed? I had to do this all fucking day.
Sometimes going cheap is actually more expensive.
Yes.
Like, especially like clothes. Sometimes cheap stuff, like, all right, I'm going to burn through because I'm going to work out in it. But then you're buying it over and over. And, like, just get a nice one. You got to buy it less and less.
Or just, like, that mid-range. Like, an Old Navy. Like, I bought a pair of fucking Old Navy jeans, and they've lasted me. I wear them, like, every day, and they last me so long.
When's the last time you personally bought underwear?
Ooh. You know, I was thinking about that because I wear sheath underwear. Use the promo code. I don't know if you have one. But like,
we'll get one.
I fell for it and it's the best underwear. Like I don't get paid by them, but they're like $35 a pair, and it's like, yeah, like it's after shipping maybe, I don't know, maybe 22, like 25, 30.
For one pair of underwear?
And they're completely worth it. I have like 7 pairs, and then like that's when I know it's time to do laundry is when I'm out of my sheath underwear.
Are they like compression underwear? Or
Yeah,
are they like,
I got them on right now. I'll fucking like they're tight.
Drop your pants.
They got like the ball pocket, so you can like separate.
But they're like
it.
compression shorts, but like not too tight.
Yeah.
Because I'm a brief guy, but I don't like them all the way down here. I wear compression shorts all day at the gym.
These ones go like to like here.
Okay.
So and then I have ones that are like longer that I like wearing to the gym because it like if I'm squatting down or whatever, like you don't need to see my entire.
I can't wear regular underwear to the gym. Yeah. I have to have compression shorts. It's just like it's like a mental thing.
When I also when I played rugby, you wear you don't wear underwear, you just wear compression shorts under your shorts.
Oh yeah,
because you're like grabbing all the time, and you'll get underwear like ripped off of you and shit. So like I was always comfortable in those, but like your junk's just like flopping around in there too. But like
you
it's
ever
got the fucking
played
ball
sports
pocket.
like football, basketball, soccer, anything? Like you're just so used to wearing compression shorts, it's like second nature. Like that's
but
what.
But
I
they're
wear
lighter. Like it's not like that thick. Where
I don't
like it's
like the
caught in your
super
fucking
thick ones.
hair.
Yeah.
But it's been a while since I bought another pair.
I don't remember the last time I bought underwear. I either get it for Christmas, for a birthday, or like I've just had this underwear for forever.
Yeah.
And it's like 2 pairs are Hanes, another 2 pair of Hanes, but a different style, but also briefs. And then there's like a few Calvin Kleins, but like Calvin Kleins you think are fancy, these are not fancy. I'm like, I don't know where I got any of these.
With the thick Justin Bieber fucking Calvin Klein
Hell
waistband?
No, I think I'm wearing one right now. No, these are the low end Hanes ones. But
you broke bitch.
Yeah, I don't remember the last time I bought underwear.
And it's like, it's one of those like old tropes of like, and I tried to make a joke of it, like everything else.
It just appears. I've always had it.
Well, but that like I've got underwear older than you. Like I've got like pairs of underwear that I've like they don't have holes in them, so they're just still in my like just in case. They're just in my drawer.
Oh my! I have so many
I haven't worn since I'll move and I'll be like, why the fuck do I have these? And I'll be like, well, just in case. Like
I have like just in case socks.
Yeah.
I have these socks. I wear these for everything. Just Nike Dry Fit socks. Everything.
I can't wear high top.
Except it's a lacrosse thing. I got into it playing lacrosse.
You would.
I'm, one of those guys.
It's okay.
It's okay.
You've grown out of it.
I've accepted it.
You don't have
lacrosse.
You don't have a stick in your living room,
it's in my room though.
That's fine. That's perfectly fine. But like those lacrosse dudes that haven't. It's the same thing.
They're hanging up in their living room.
You haven't
like a trophy.
Yeah, like I didn't play. Like we won state championship when I was in high school. I was pretty good. I was going to play on the college team, but like whatever, got fat and out of shape and whatever. Partying's way more fun than running, and but like I didn't have a rugby ball in my like living room, like those dudes that like have like the lacrosse stick, and they would just like fucking hang around just like in their living room.
Always the kids that like shouldn't have it hanging up, like the guys that do have it hanging up definitely shouldn't. The ones that should have it hanging up, it's like tucked away in a bag.
Rode the bench, like that's the guy who, like the fucking guys who wear their goddamn
made Maryland, but like never played a single second.
But like they also have like fucking like their varsity jacket on too when it's winter, and you're just like, bro.
I have mine because I enjoyed coaching.
Yeah,
it was really fun, and like I love the sport. The sport itself is so fun, and some of the culture is actually fun too.
Yeah,
the culture part of that sucks. I hate that.
It is what it is.
It is what it is. You're gonna go through it playing, especially at a young age. You're
for sure.
I'm cool. Like it's a very cool, flashy sport. It really
Dude,
is.
It's like it is almost like comedy, where you go through that like I'm a comedian now. And then you're just like 6 months later, you're like, what a fucking nard.
Yeah.
And it's the same thing with lacrosse. You're like, hey, bro, relax. Yeah. Just like, calm down.
Relax, bro.
You know that fucking the Native Americans, like, this is what they did instead of war, right? Like,
we're one of them now.
Like Jim Brown, the best football player, he was an okay lacrosse player. That's how much of a sport it is.
We're warriors now. I'm battle tested.
Yeah.
Speaking of rugby, though, when you said you don't have a rugby ball, I had a rugby. Never played a. Is it down, minute, second?
Sure.
This is how much I've never played rugby.
There's no downs, but yeah.
I've never played, a second of rugby in my life.
It's so fun.
But I went to Epcot as a kid.
Of course.
And I saw this rugby ball, and I thought it was so cool, and I had to have it. So I had my parents buy me a rugby ball. It's a sweet ball. I think I told my parents they could never throw it away.
It's
it's a really cool thing.
Yeah.
And I just had a rugby ball for no fucking reason. I didn't know how to throw it, how to kick it, anything. I just I have a rugby ball, and I put it in my room.
We would like me and my one buddy were on the rugby team, and like another one was like on and off because it was like a club. It wasn't.
You want to break your sobriety?
No. It was like a club, not like a real not a real like school team or whatever.
Yeah.
Like, we kept it to the people who were in our school, but, like, whatever. And so, like, we went down to, like, Florida our senior year for, like, our senior trip or whatever.
Team was, yeah.
And so, like, but, like, we just took a rugby ball because we're like, oh, it'll be like throwing a football around. And it's so boring just to, like, throw. Like, a lacrosse ball is fun to throw.
Football, baseball, soccer ball. I think every sport besides rugby might be fun to just play, have a catch.
And you, like, look cool for, like, 5 seconds, and then you're just, like, bored. And then when you try to play, like, one-on-one rugby, and you're like, this is fucking like, we look like we're running drills on the beach. Like, we look like big fucking losers. Like, but... The game is so boring to watch if you don't know what's going on.
Underhand passes is what it is.
But it's once you if you know the rules and when you play it, it is the most fun game.
I believe it
because it's like football, but there's no stopping. It's like soccer, but there's tackling. It's like every other sport. Like, it's the best part of every other sport.
It scared me because I remember the rugby guys would practice on the field when we practiced lacrosse in college. And I was like, these guys are fucking monsters. Like, they would eat every one of us. Even the guy that was like 4'2" that they just used as a stepping stool.
Yeah.
Was built like a tank.
And that fucking, but like, so Bowling Green State University was 20 minutes down the road from our high school team. And like a couple of our coaches used to play for BG. And like back then, I don't know now because whatever, I'm 32 and don't keep track.
Are you really?
Yeah. Don't keep track of college rugby because, like, whatever. But, like, they were in, like, the top 10, 20 programs in the country just randomly. And, like, they would go to, like, South Africa and play, like, their national team and shit. So, like,
How'd that go?
Pretty decently. Like,
really?
Like, they would tell stories of, like, they would be like, we hate playing American people because they hit so much harder. Because, like, we're growing up on football. And, like, rugby tackling's so different. Yeah. Like, football, like, every yard matters. Where, like, rugby, like, you'll give up a meter just to, like, get a good, clean tackle and to try to get the ball. Mm-hmm. Like, whatever. Like, it matters way less.
Every game is, like, a game of inches in
right.
the US.
Where rugby's not that much. So, like, they tackle... Like, they'll more, like, grab you and pull you down instead of, like, hit you.
Yeah.
So, they hate it. So, like, they would always, like, be more, like, tentative to, like, do that. But, like... we won a state championship. We were a good high school team. We played the seaside of Bowling Green. And when I tell you that I have not even been near somebody that I couldn't touch before, like, they were so fast. Like, and what they would do is they would poach football players off of the team and be like, hey, you're never going to play. Would you rather come over here?
But you're also 6'4", 300 pounds.
Made out of pure muscle. Exactly. You can run a fucking 4.2, but like your knee was shattered. You're never going to play again.
And you're dumb as rocks.
Yeah.
Just go forward, please.
Yep. Just here's the ball and go. Run over this 17-year-old. Like,
some sports, like, I don't like how soft we got with a lot of sports. I think we've done some good things with concussion protocol and stuff like that. But there are some times I'm like, how the fuck do we let children do any of this?
Well, I mean, but like rugby, because you are supposed to like let the momentum go towards you and like,
then
roll.
fall. Yeah.
Because like that's the best tackle is if you roll it and it's facing your side, then you have access to the ball versus if you hit them and it's facing their side, they have access to it. So it's almost better to let them kind of go over you. So you're not like, I got one concussion playing rugby and it was in practice and it was because the kid didn't know where to put his head on a thing. Like it was just like completely on
That's
accident.
fair.
Yeah. So like, and I mean, yeah, I got fucked up. Like I like hurt my shoulder, hurt my ankle, like all that stuff. But like that happens in regular sports.
Yeah.
And you look super cool. Like when you're just like out there and like you can wear T-shirts that like say
When
no
you're
pads,
tackling
all
without
balls.
pads. That always
It's
I
so
was
like
because I know what it feels like to get hit with pads.
Yeah.
And tackle with pads. Someone who's 3 times the size of me, and you're like, I think my ribs are in my nutsack right now. I couldn't.
It was
imagine.
a cool equalizer though,
Yeah.
because like there were dudes that like, because I grew up in Ohio, like you play football, like that's
Yeah.
what you do from like fucking 5th grade, and like maybe even a little bit before that, and then they're just like, all right, here's rugby, like this is what men play, and you're like, yeah, whatever, and like there are dudes that like I was terrified of on the football field that like. We would do like whatever you call it, where like the one like there's one person in the middle, everybody runs, that one person has to tackle somebody.
Oh.
Then like it's 2 people against everybody, like that, whatever that is.
That game as
Yeah.
a kid.
Well, we would do that same thing in rugby, and like there were like dudes who like on the football team I would never even go near. Like one dude like knocked me the fuck out before, and then like I was on the rugby pitch, which is the field. I was like, all right, let's try this. And I fucking truck stick this dude because he doesn't have pads or a helmet to hide behind. So like it's just like way like
Everyone's a little tentative.
Everybody's a little tentative unless you like know you can take that hit. And it's like I've taken this hit 1,000 times. I don't know if this dude has. And it's just like it's like you don't want to be like it's more manly, but it's like it's way more manly. It's so cool.
I used to argue, not really argue, but at times I would think lacrosse, depending on the team you played, was more physical of a game for me because I played defensive back.
Yeah, you're getting
like
whacked
I'm not
and fucking,
I'm not talking offensive, defensive lineman, stuff like that. But it was more physical than football games sometimes because like all right, you would tackle as like a defensive back, you get like you'd be in like 4 to 8 tackles a game kind of thing. I played offense in lacrosse, and you're getting smacked around. Someone's aluminum pole is getting whipped at you. I mean, imagine someone just beating the shit out of you for 4 quarters.
Or if you get one of those assholes who puts like sand in it or whatever.
Oh, my one of my best friends growing up, Joel, he still plays lacrosse to this day. He crazy motherfucker. He got a wooden pole. Like they allowed wooden poles, and that thing hurt like a bitch. He went down my shit, took like layers off my skin. He played a game where he literally had to stop and goes, guys, I can't play. I made a spear. It just broke in half and could have killed someone with the stick. And I think he plays with it still a little bit, but when he switched back to an aluminum pole, which is a quarter of the weight, he's whipping that thing at speeds no one's seen before, and you can take people out of the thing. I got hit just underneath my elbow pad once by the plastic head, and it still hit my pad, and I lost all feeling in my left arm.
Yeah.
Still scored on the play. Let me add that right now. I mean, great.
Kind of a big
But
deal.
I was like, I went to throw, and every time I threw, my arm gave out. They chipped my bone. They literally took bone off me. I was like,
damn.
Jesus Christ. I got stabbed in the neck with it, and you're like, I can't swallow.
What up?
I forgot you're coming home.
Special guest.
He walked in on the last one, too, but this time I gave him a heads up.
Is it more embarrassing or less embarrassing than if you were to like walk in on you like with your girl here?
I think it's about equal. Nah, I'm really not.
Well, not for you. You're the one walking in on it.
He's seen this so many times. He's been on it. How many times have you been on this? 3, 4? Yeah. That I would say in the first 4 months of me doing this, if you walked in on me, I'd be like, I would shut down.
Oh, I make sure that like there's no chance that my girl, like I've been dating my girlfriend for 7 years, and if she like walked in on me doing a podcast, I would like shut it down. Like,
there's
she'd call
something
me watching
different
porn.
about a solo one though, because I've done a few solo ones, and they've popped up on my memories recently. And I've cringed so hard. Like, I'm like, I might just go delete these episodes now. Like, they're disgusting.
But, like, we do stand-up by ourselves.
Exactly.
And there's nobody up there. But it's almost like one of those, like...
But that's prepared a little bit.
Yes.
This was, like, all off the cuff for 45 minutes. I'm like,
ugh.
I want to vomit. And I kind of prepared. I'm like, I'm going to talk about these things. I'm like, why?
Well, that's even, like, but that's how I do mine. It's just, like, the whole basis behind mine is, like, let's see if I can kill 25 minutes to a half hour. Just, like... I might have something I want to talk about a little bit, but like, let's see if I can kill 25 minutes. Because like, if any point, like especially now that I'm like starting to get like feature gigs or whatever, it's like, all right, you have your 20 to 25 minutes, but if like for some reason the headliner doesn't show up, or
can you talk? Can
you just stretch?
Oh, this has helped so much with me just being comfortable when things go awry or someone talks. I have no problem just sitting there in silence waiting for something to end or
silence, period. Like, especially, that's, like, one of the biggest things in, like, not to take this too serious, but, like, in stand-up is, like, it's like jazz. It's the notes you don't play. Like, sometimes it's, like, when you let it sit. And I'll do that, like, all the time. Like, it happened on Tuesday. I did my first feature gig at Skyline. Shout out me. But, like, this chick, like, this chick fucking, like, interrupted, like, the setup of a joke. And I'm just, like, I just stopped. And like a lot of places, like most people are like afraid of like the silence. I just stopped talking.
Yeah.
And I was like, if you want to take over the show, you're more than welcome. And then she just like, like that made the point. It was like, this is how it's going to be if you keep chiming in. I'm just going to stop.
I think ultimately it just shows confidence in what you have prepared. And you know it's going to, in your head, he's like, oh, this is going to work. So you're going to have to listen to it. Or
even it's just like it's a way to assert control too. Like, because that's what you're really doing. Like, yes, your jokes are there and whatnot, but like if you know what you're doing, you're commanding the room. Like, you know what notes to hit, you know what parts are supposed to hit and whatever. But like, if something doesn't hit in the right spot, you see a lot of people like, and it happens all the time. They'll be like, oh, that usually gets a laugh there. Or like it'll get a pop in a random spot. And people will be like, well, that's not usually, like, this is just the setup. Or like, wait till you hear the end. Like, it just kind of takes away from the rest of it. And it's just like, oh, you just have to like work through it. And then sometimes like the best thing to do is just shut the fuck up. Like, if I bomb a joke, like if a joke just like hits terribly, and like Maddie's is a good place to do it too.
Oh yeah.
Like, if it doesn't go well, I'll just like stop. And I'll just be like, you feel that? Like, I feel it too. Let's start over. Like, it's just like...
when that happens at something like Maddie's, that's when I ask you, should I quit my dreams? And I'm looking for a negative response because it'll get people back on your side. Like, oh, no one cares.
Yeah, and it's just... And it's one of those, like... And especially on a fucking Tuesday, in the suburbs at a fucking rock club. Like, you're doing the best you can. And, like, if there's people there, it rules. Like...
That'd be a good... If they can... I wish I could have seen what the Valentine's show looked like because there's plenty of seating there. Mm-hmm. You could put on a decent show there.
It's good. Like, when there's people there, like, even if you get a handful of 10, like, in there, it's
in general, just a good layout for a bar for entertaining. Music, comedy, whatever. The pool table's far enough in the back. There's seating where people can still be, like, antsy and occupied. People who really want to listen can be up front. And the bar seems disconnected but connected at the same time because the stage, that wall next to the stage, is just, it comes a little farther out. It's not right there. And
I'm glad that Valentine's Day show did well because you could kind of see it after like a few weeks of nobody being there. Like, the staff was a little squirrely. Like,
why are we doing this?
That happens at a lot of open mics where, like, at first it's like super fun and popular, and then people see what open mic comedy is, and then you do like a showcase and like people show out for that, and then it's like this is the difference between paid and free comedy.
I remember your perception of comedy when you get into the world a little bit, even like I would say as Jake, who with me doing it, I think his version or what he thought of it has changed.
Yeah.
That's my guess. But I remember when one of our buddies started doing a little bit of stand-up, a little bit of, what would you call it, what Dowda does when he improv, like when he started. I think it was a little more Dimitri Martin-like sketch, yeah. But when he started doing that, I remember you guys telling us there's this guy who does the same thing the last 3 weeks he was there. And I was like, well, you got to do something different. I'm like, no, that guy working on the same bit probably over and over again. Now, again, looking back on it, that's probably all he had. Yeah. But you got to do things over and over.
Well, that's even like when I don't know if I talked about it, but like that's when I first started going to comedy shows. Like I started watching the host. Like I would go every week, and then he'd like did like the same 5 to 7 minutes, and I was like, well, what the fuck? Like, this is stupid. And then I was like, oh, you have to work on an act. Like, I'll never be able to do that.
It's not meant for, like, recurrent customers.
Yes. Open mics for sure aren't.
Yeah. God, no.
And that's so funny.
Have you heard this yet?
No.
Just wait. Sit in the silence, people.
Can you change the song on it?
That is to let me know my washing machine's done. How many times did you think it was going to end? 3?
Too many. It's like a doorbell at a house that like nobody should be in.
If they rang it 6 times, yeah. Our dryer, I think, does the same thing.
That's one of my buddy's favorite jokes. One of my favorite jokes of his is he said he changed Yeah,
it'd be great. No.
Welcome to the laundry podcast.
Yeah.
but he's
nothing
like,
will be edited out.
Yeah,
I am that lazy.
No, that's perfect.
This is all
that's what you need. But like that, he's like the place that we moved in. Like the doorbell has the national anthem as like the doorbell ring, Jesus. Which is like nice and patriotic. But like it sucks because I can never answer the door because I'm always kneeling. He's like, I gotta prove that I'm like down for the cause or whatever. And it's just like and it's one of those like, yeah, that is like wild that people have that as their thing. But
that's great. I like that.
But yeah, somebody like that somebody had to market research that. They were like, hey, is this too long? And they're like, well, what if they don't hear the first half of it? And then it's like, well, but then should we like make it louder? And it's like, no, it needs to be the same song, but like back to back, just in case. Like we don't want people to aggressively be changing their laundry. We want them to be in a good mood.
Yeah.
Changing laundry is already hard enough. We need them to like like they had to sit in a lab for like those
for that
tones.
Song.
Yeah.
It's crazy to think at one point everything was someone's job at some point. Like that little noise was what is our Maytag dryer's noise going to be? Or the most basic shit. And like, how do you get those jobs? Like, how do you get those jobs?
I think I would kill it in one of those jobs.
Well, I think we also think like that's their whole job. It's like you're making ringtones for the washing machine. No, they probably made the washing machine. It's like, fuck it, throw this one on there. But
nah,
they got to decide.
So I worked for Generac Generators for a while, and like there's a department for fucking everything. Like every decision has to be run up a chain for every like. We helped make a fucking website, whatever, for like people applying to like be dealers. And it was like, hey, can we put this button on the other side? And they're like, well, let's run it through to see if it would be too confusing for like our consumer group to like, and it was just like, what? It's going to take 3 weeks to see if we can move a button over like to the other side where it makes more sense. And like, so it's almost like they create those jobs just so people have jobs.
Dummy proof everything. In reality, you leave that button there. It's like they'll get used to it.
Yeah.
Give them a week. They'll get used to it to the point where so used to it that if you moved to the other side, be like, why the fuck is it over here?
I got an email from my bank because I have 2 banks. No big deal. But I have like one so I can deposit cash from comedy shows, and then the other one's like all online. But like I use BMO Harris, and like they had to send out an email saying that they were changing their website from bmoharris.com to bmo.com, and they had to like send an email and then like tell you why, and then like explain the rebranding, and you're just like, just tell me. I have the fucking app. I don't care.
Everything's a liability, because someone could sue them.
Yeah. especially since it's a bank and like the feds are involved in shit too. But like there's also we'd like tailor too much shit to like the old people who don't want to relearn things. My buddy he works at PetSmart and he's like, "Hey, do you have a rewards program?" And they're like, "No, I can't get it because I don't have an email address." And he's like, "Well, how do you not have an email address? It's the email's been around for 20 plus years."
I think I have like 6.
But anybody who's alive, even if you're 80, you were 60 when the fucking internet popped off.
You probably have an email address.
Yeah. You have to. Unless you were retired.
I wonder if my grandpa's got one.
I guarantee you he's got one.
I don't know. We had a...
Does he have television?
Yeah, but I think it's just always been on.
Like got it day one.
We turned it on. Like he has a phone for sure, and I don't know if we had to set up an email for that. You probably did.
Yeah.
But I remember like every Thanksgiving we go through his voicemails for the year.
Nice.
We're like, "Hey, these are the calls you missed from March." He's like, "Should we get back to them?" We go, "They're probably dead if they're your friend." Like,
yeah. They haven't called again since March. Oh fuck.
You're good.
Oh, the whole thing moves.
Oh yeah, so this
is tricky.
This is a very expensive table. My roommate and I, he finds furniture in fucking Illinois all the time. So we got this. I drove down with him to get this.
Is he from Illinois?
No, he's from Mequon. And then he got this there. His parents found this for us. We went down, bought it. But before we lived together, I helped him go get this. And I'm like, why doesn't it like screw on? It wasn't until we moved in here. I'm like, dude, there are like holes for us to screw this together so it doesn't move. And he was like, yeah, we should probably do that. We haven't. We've also been saying we should put stuff on the walls, and we haven't. It took us 2 months ago. We put that up because I saw a screw hole in the cement already that we're like, let's just put it up there. And then for our Christmas party, we put Santa Claus right there, and now that's just going to stay there. But the reason I say that is, so
what a great poster. Scott Calvin must become Santa. No ifs, ands, just one big butt.
It's literally the best Christmas movie of all time.
I think Elf, but
no.
I think it's closer than it should be.
The nostalgic factor takes Elf over.
I don't know. Here's the thing. I've repeatedly watched Elf. I've maybe not seen the Santa Claus all the way through and forever.
I watch it every year. I used to watch this in July as a kid. My parents would be like, there are 2 movies as a kid. I'm a Tim Allen fan through
I like
and
Tim
through.
Allen.
I don't care what he's going through.
Yeah.
I think he flashed his penis at Pam Anderson or something like that.
I don't know. That was. I mean, he was like a big Trump guy or something. I think
he's Republican. He's openly conservative.
He's
you know
from
what?
Detroit.
I'm all for like he owns who he is.
Yeah.
I like that.
Yeah. Home Improvement fucking ripped.
Home Improvement, great. Toy Story. 1, 2, 3, 4, 4. We did.
I don't know. I don't think I saw 4.
I don't.
Maybe I don't think
4.
I think I saw 3.
But I used to watch that all year, and it's like my favorite, hands down. I will watch it every year. But this table, so I had the appendectomy. You can't lift more than 10 pounds for a while. So, like I said, this slides, and occasionally it gets like far back. Like I pushed it there and like pushed it back, and it's on the edge. And I put my feet up too aggressively, and the whole thing fell down. Coffee everywhere, food everywhere. And my roommate Jake isn't home, and I'm like, well, that is going to stay here until he gets home. He didn't get home for like 2 days. I call him like, are you going to be home tonight? He goes, can it wait till I'm home? I'm like, well, the coffee table is just going to be on the ground. I couldn't take out my own trash. Yeah. I was like, when you get home, you and your girlfriend are going to have to do this because usually I have to help. Like, this thing is like 200 pounds.
That's crazy.
It's disgusting. That surgery sucked, but we're good now. How's your head doing?
It's okay.
It's okay.
I get to do fun like therapy shit now. That's fun.
Oh, you're still doing some of that?
Well, I mean, I just like started actual therapy. Like I was gonna go to like a concussion doctor, but like it got good enough where I was just like, whatever, we can live with this. But like, it like really, the biggest thing is it like, because I got like diagnosed with ADHD like September of last year, September, October, somewhere in there. And like I didn't ever really know. So like I finally like got on like meds for it. I was like getting like organized, and like shit was like I actually like can like keep a string together. And then like I get into a fucking accident.
Pretty organized. I guess September last year.
It's like you can. So that's one of the big things is like why I never really noticed it is like you can like hide in like organizational things. Like as long as you know, like if like school.
That might be the medical company trying to get me to pay medical bills right now.
Don't do it. Damn the man. But no, it's like if you like there's a certain specific kind where like you can like hide in like organize like school or like working at a corporate job or like working in certain jobs. Like it doesn't show up because like it's more like regimented where you have to be here at certain times. It was like once I left my corporate gig and like started like I work at a coffee shop and like there's no like organization, and then like I'm trying to like do my like comedy shit, and it's just like, oh, now this is like all on me. I don't know how to like get it going. So then like that's when it like started noticing it. But basically like as soon as I got in the accident, like just with like the head trauma of it, like it just like threw everything off because like my like symptoms have been like way worse recently just because like your brain's broken.
Yeah.
And it's like healing back up. So it's just like slowly like putting it back together. And that's like so I just like started doing like actual therapy because I was like, I want to be like ready if something like this happens again, where it's not just like everything's fucked, everything's terrible. Like what are we doing? And then just like it stops and it's
Do you
back.
think it takes stuff off the brain, off the mind, so it allows you to be less cluttered? You got less to focus on? So you're not focused everywhere?
For what? Like what
for like
does?
Therapy.
I actually, it's one of those things where, and I talked about it on my podcast today, Comedy Mushroom Cult Podcast. That's the second plug.
We'll put the links to it.
I don't let anybody listen to that.
Well, I'm gonna put it.
That's fine. Go for it. But
that's fine. Put it on the front page.
Yeah, it's the worst podcast ever. But like, and I'm proud of it. But like, it's one of those things where there's so many like things that just like whatever you've gone through, like no matter like if you had the best childhood, you still like hated your parents at some reason. Like everybody's fucked up at some point. So like however you like go through like, or if you're too sheltered and like you had too good of a childhood, when you get to like the real world, you don't know what's going on. Like everybody's got their thing. So like whatever, like to use the word trigger, but like whatever triggers it, like it's just better to like know like what it is that like that's what I've liked about it so far is she'll just be like, well, do you think it's like this that actually triggered this and that's what caused you to do this? And you're just like, oh shit, like yeah, that makes sense. Like I wasn't actually mad about that thing, it's just that reminded me of like this time, and then like I felt like I didn't handle it right, so I'm gonna like over handle it this time, and it just like throws everything through a loop. Where like that's kind of like the accident took me off of my routine, and so I was like, well, the last time I didn't have a routine, it was like a big clusterfuck. So now I'm like, oh, now I have to like over fucking do it. But we're like, now it's just kind of like, oh, I see what's going on. Like, all right, let's just like take a beat. It's the same thing of being quiet on stage. Like, let's take a beat. Let's reset. Let's fucking stop. And like now I know like what I'm kind of looking for. But it's been like 2 or 3 weeks, so it's not like I'm like in on it, but it's just like one of those like, hey, maybe start paying attention to like X, Y, and Z, and then you're just like, oh yeah, shit.
Makes you more aware of things.
Yeah, and it's not even like and I'll like fixate on things sometimes, but like it's not even like a fixation. It's like and that's even like a cool thing of like, I talked to my therapist about it on Wednesday, like multiple personality disorder, because like her big thing is like everybody's got like different people inside of them. Like you've got like comedy, you've got at home, you've got at work.
Absolutely.
Like you've got that.
I hate when people are like, you need to be the same person everywhere. No.
No.
Absolutely not.
And so, but it's like, and like when I was like, and I had somebody the one time be like, I never know which Ray's going to show up just because like I could like whatever.
Yeah.
And so like that kind of sticks in your head a little bit that like, oh, maybe I have like different things going on. And so you're just like, so like, do you think I might have like multiple personality and she's like, no. Just flatly.
Dude, the brain's powerful. I can talk myself into anything.
And it's just
crazy.
Nice to have like a person who's like not attached to the situation to be like, hey, maybe you're just being a dickhead, and you're like, okay. Yeah,
sometimes you just need someone else to tell you, no, you're not that, and you're like, oh, good. It's that peace of mind. Which
and it's
is
not
phenomenal.
even like, but like even just like people like we're not like tight, like
no.
we're cool, but like if I were to bring something up to you, you still have that like, well, do I give this detail? Do I give that detail? Like
I don't know where I belong.
That lady's like, she lives in my computer, like in a room somewhere, and like she just like gives me answers, and it's just like a nice like. She doesn't get like when she's done, she's probably got 1,000 other people she deals with. Like she knows what. Like she even said something to me. She's like, "This is the treatment plan," and like. We talked over it together, and like you said that you like doing, like this is what you would like to do, and we're gonna do some of the things we don't like to do because we're adults and we want to get better. And I was like, yeah, that's not kind of how you talk to a 32-year-old man, but it's also like you're not wrong.
Kind of how you need to talk to any human being.
Yeah, I was like, but it was just like one of those like, hey, lady, I'm the one paying you, but also fuck you, it worked. Like, no,
you're
I'm
paying,
doing my shit.
That's like almost like a personal trainer. Like I'm paying you. But to make me better?
Yes.
But you don't realize what you're paying for is me to just like push you.
Yeah.
I'm going to push you. People need to hear in general. You need to do things you don't want to fucking do.
Sometimes. And that's
sometimes.
That's even like what I told her, because she was like, how are things going? And I was like, I'm just like the busiest I've ever been. And she's like, are you actually busy? And I was like, well, what do you mean by that? And she's like, are you busier, or does it seem like you're more busy because like you have some shit piling up again that you don't want to do, and you're doing the things that you want to do instead of the things you need to do? I was like, fuck you, man. Like, yeah, when you make it that simple.
It's said so well. It just, where I have like, I said so many times, where I have issues with people telling me they have anxiety or depression, because I know people who have both legitimate cases. And then there are people like, I'm just an anxious person. I have anxiety. I'm like, no, Becca, you don't do anything. You're fucking lazy. Right. You're not depressed. You're not anxious. You're lazy. You're not doing anything you want to do. Don't work out. You don't eat well. You don't push yourself. Like, you're not
even if they
any
do
of those.
have anxiety,
you're
they're not helping it.
You're not motivated. Yeah.
And that was like my big thing.
You can be anxious without anxiety.
Yes. And that's like, so like, and that was my big thing of like, when I found out I have ADHD, or like when I was like, I need to look into this, it would be like, because I've got like anxiety, like legit, whatever. I'm not qualifying it to you, but like.
Don't need to.
No. But it was like, it's caused because like, I would be like, I have all the shit I have to do. Yeah. And then I would like sit down, and it would be like 3 things. It's just 3 things I didn't want to do. Yeah. And then like, it would take me 15 minutes, and then I'd be perfectly fine for the day.
It's crazy how quickly you can do things you don't like. Even simple, like, I don't want to send this email. Like, it's going to take me a while to send it. It's like 3 seconds, you're done. Like, oh, shit.
I don't want to make this phone call.
Yeah.
They're not going to answer anyways. Like, you're going to leave a voicemail, and it's going to be done. Like, it's like, and it's shit like that, and it's like, excuse me. And that's when I was like, oh. Like, but it's also, like, some of it of, like, I'll forget to do something. Or, like the ADHD part of it, it was like, I have, like, these, on busy days. Like, today, I got, like, a bunch of shit done where it was, like, knew I had to work out, do laundry, do this. I had to deposit a check on my phone. Like, I don't even have to leave the house. I just have to deposit a check on my phone.
It seems like a lot, but you could do it from your bed.
And all 3 of those things I could, like, I did yoga, I went to the gym, got home, I walked the dog, I went and got coffee, I fucking did the check thing in 5 seconds. I'd hook up to my insurance. Like, it's just like you build these things, and it's like once you, like, instead of just like, I'm just going to knock it out in a row, like focus on the one thing and go to the next thing. It's like I have 20 things, and you're just like, well, I can do 3 of those in the same time.
I feel that. Do you think it's because you view tasks as the steps of the task? Like walking the dog is get the dog, get the collar, put the collar on, put the leash on, put your clothes on, go for a walk, put your shoes on, go for a walk.
Come back, do all the
wipe
opposite.
the dog off, take it all off. Then like, that seems like a lot more than just go for a walk. Well, you're viewing it as 12 steps rather than 1 step. The check is find the check, sign the check, take a picture of the check, deposit the check.
The insurance thing. I have to remember my insurance login. I have to fucking get in there. I have to go get my miles.
You have to look up the login. Yeah,
like you have to do all this shit, and you're just like, it took me 45 seconds, and I had done it before, and it's like I knew it would take me 45 seconds, and that's even what she said. She's like, that's the same thing you're going through now with like your ADHD and like coming back from the accident and all that shit. Is like, it was hard the first time, but like once it was done, you're like, cool, like it's done. And now, like, things are in order. And now you're just, like, remembering how hard it was the first time. And you just don't want to do it.
Yeah.
And it's like, you just have to. And you're like, well, yeah, but also I just don't want to. So, like, that's and it's the same thing with, like, fucking, like, working out. Like, now I'm, like, I fucking started lifting again. Like, I was doing yoga for the longest. Just because it was, like, I can do it at home. I can do it in 15, 20, 30 minutes. Like, it's there. But then I hit, like, a plateau of it. And I was like, whatever, I'll just be like the same. Like, fine, whatever. I like doing it. It's relaxing. I hate going to the gym. I don't want to fucking do it. And then, like, now I'm, like, in the routine of it. And it's like, this is just how I burn off stress now. Like, I have to go after work or I have to go on, like, my off day. If it's been 2 days, I can feel the itch. It's like, this is the thing that fucking works.
I talked to Avery about this. Like, both of us. Like, if I don't work out, I'm a terrible human being. Yeah. I feel disgusting. And then all of a sudden, I feel lazy. So then I feel even worse. And then I don't have, like, some of us just need to exert some just fucking. That's the best way to describe it. That's it.
And then it's like even, just like, so I was in so I didn't work out. Like, I worked out Thursday night. I was in Arkansas Friday, Saturday, drove back Sunday. So I didn't want to work out. And that was the Super Bowl. Ate like shit all weekend. And like, and like physically, that your body doesn't change over 3-4 days, like enough to like notice it. Like, yes, it does. But like, you know what I mean? Like where you like
might be a little bloated.
Yeah, right. It's not going to be like, I just gained 10 pounds, but like you look in the mirror and you're like, God, I feel like shit. I haven't worked out.
Your face is a little swollen.
Right. Then Drink you go fucking, you work out for 5 minutes and you like just start feeling like that pump in your muscles again. And you're like, oh, it's still there. And then you that one workout doesn't really do anything that second, but like as soon as you get home, that same fucking mirror that you look in, you're like, fuck yeah, I still got it. Like, and it's just,
again, the brain is fucking
it's wild.
Crazy.
And like I weigh myself once a month and it'll be like that day I'll like wake up and I'll be like, I'm a fat piece of shit. Like I didn't do enough. And then
you're down 2 pounds,
down like 2-3 pounds. And you're like, oh, I must have done like something. And it's just like that stupid number.
I tell people as a trainer all the time, like, stop weighing yourself all the time.
Yeah.
Okay. The first and most important question you need to answer is, do you feel better? Mm-hmm. And they're like, yeah. I'm like, then shut the fuck up. And then weigh yourself either every Monday or once a month. Mm-hmm. If you do it every day, you're going to hate it because your body is going to do this for the rest of your fucking life. Well, if you get into the habit of weighing yourself every day and then stuff starts happening to you, car accident, appendectomy, and then all of a sudden it's just the negative side.
I did Noom. Like, that's how I dropped like most of my weight because I was like the highest I remember weighing myself, and I know it was higher, was 285, was like January 1st of 2020. And like I got pulled over on my way up to Skyline on Tuesday, so I had to pull my license out, and the weight that I lied saying I weighed was 275. So it was like, and that was like the weight that I was just like, we're gonna say 275 because I'll be there eventually.
Exactly.
And it was like, and that's what I was lying about. And so it was like, so I did Noom, and like they have you weigh yourself every single day, so you can like see it going, but they explain that like it's going to go up and down. Yeah. And if you skip out, and it basically trains you to have an eating disorder more than anything, but like it worked and like whatever.
Sometimes shaming works.
But then it just like stopped. You know, like you hit that plateau of it, and then it's just like a calorie
Most people
counter.
don't know how to handle a plateau.
And it's just like, all right, now I need to change it up. I'm going to stop like paying attention. Like I know like the best thing that they do is they like teach you like simple, again, like therapy, like simple shit. Hey, just because you're at a Mexican restaurant, you don't have to eat all of the chips in front of you. Like have some, not all of them. Yeah. Right. But it's tough. And they're just like, or like, hey, just like if you get a plate of food, like section off like half of it, take the other half home, you're probably not going to eat that other half at another point. But like the first half is more than enough food.
Oh yeah, our portion sizes are way too big.
So like stupid shit like that. So like you have those tools, but then it was like, oh, but I can still have like, I don't know, I eat like, I don't, just my body, I don't eat that much during the day. So like if I like smash dinner and then have a snack at night, like whatever, it's going to be fine on the back end. I mean, obviously, like, whatever the biometrics are. But, like, it's, like, one of those, like, if you do enough work to, like, counterbalance it, like, it's fine. Like, you don't need to be, like, life on every fucking, yeah.
Life is balance is what it is. It's balance. We should wrap this up because we're over an hour already. Shit. What do you think Rihanna's going to name her second kid?
What's the name of the first one?
I don't know. Do you think either one of them is going to be an ASAP? I think the second one is because she was pregnant pretty fucking quick.
Shut the. How long have you been sitting on that?
I have not.
That's an internet joke. That's gotta be. That's a good tweet. I'm kicked off of Twitter and I'm mad about it.
You can have it. I literally that just came to my head. But
well, the first one was a woman, right, or a girl, right?
I have no clue. That's
I saw pictures of like that they like put out. Here's the problem with it being so quick is they put out pictures on like GQ or something and she was like looking like she wasn't pregnant, which fine, be pregnant. Like all women are beautiful, but she was like looking like top tier Rihanna again in those pictures. And then like the Super Bowl, she's like pregnant again. So like they sat on those pictures for how long to release it? Probably until the Super Bowl.
Oh, absolutely.
So then it looks completely different. So then like that kid's a different age now too. I just don't know the name of the first one. I don't know if they're a weird name person.
I hope not. Rihanna doesn't seem like a...
Because she's from, like, Barbados or something, right?
Oh, it's going to be different. I can't... If Barbados, you can't say weird. It's going to be different.
I would say, like Jimmy. Like, I bet you it's going to be something, like, stupid boring. Or they won't release
just white as fuck. Kyle.
Yeah, like... Jeremy. Like,
what's Rihanna's last name or ASAP?
Fenty.
Fenty?
Yeah, it's the name of her brand. That's the reason why I know that.
That's her actual last name?
I believe so. I don't know if Rihanna's her real
ASAP's last name? What's his first name? It's not Rocky.
It's not ASAP Rocky. I don't know.
No shit, it's not ASAP Rocky.
ASAP Rocky Williams. Like, but not, like, I know we're wrapping up, but like stage names, that's what's wonky about stage names.
Yeah.
It's like my buddy Jay Hunter. That's not his real name. And, like, I've only ever known him as Jay Hunter, and we were playing basketball once, and he had, like, a heart thing. So, like, he went to the hospital, and I had to, like, bring some of his shit there. And I was, like, at the front desk. I was like, hey, my buddy Jay Hunter's here. Can I go see him? And they're like, there's nobody of that name here.
What's Jay Hunter's? Jay Hunter's not a, like, very different. What's his real name?
McNeil is his real last name.
But Jay McNeil?
I think that's his middle name. I forget the full name. I don't want to like dox him on here, but like it's not Jay. Like I think Jay is his middle name. It's like something Jay McNeil. And so like I saw him in Arkansas this past week and it was the first time I'd seen him in a while. And I just dropped okay, Mr. McNeil out of nowhere.
Yeah.
Well, he was like chatting up a girl or something. And he's just like, yo, we're going to real name right now. And I was like, you're the fuck who has a stage name.
Exactly.
Like,
you'd be surprised how many, I mean, you wouldn't, but a lot of people would be surprised how many of their favorite celebrities, their names are not their names.
Actors, comedians, like fucking local comedians it's not even their real name. Like, hey, how about, I don't know. I just work too hard to not have my name attached to it.
Sometimes, like, if you got, like, a really long last name, you're just like, all right, we're just doing a short one. But the people who are like, my name's Caleb Johnson, but I go by Jim Bob McDermott, like, why?
Well, and that's
why.
My buddy Joe Briggs, very, very funny. It's one of those things where like you start it because like you want your like online thing not to like mess with like work or whatever.
Yeah.
And then like you get far enough in where like work knows about it and it's like separate and like most people are like more worried because like my internet thing was like Ray Thomas because that's my middle name. So like I didn't want like, but I still went up on stage as like Ray Roberts. I just didn't want like work and shit like that finding it. But, like, you get so far in and you start, like, getting a name as, like, Joe Briggs. Yeah. And then as soon as people find out, like, what your real last name is, then it's just, like, you'll, like, leave. People are like, well, what the fuck? And it's just like, well, I didn't want work to find out. Where now, like, it's just, like, its own thing.
It's weird. It's like, it's just weird aesthetics is all it is.
It's weird when it's, like, somebody who's been doing comedy for, like, a month and a half and they're, like, my stage name. And it's like, you don't... you don't have a stage name.
I have not been a huge fan of there have been a few people here that as host, I'm like, who the fuck is this guy? And then they're like, oh, it's me now. I go, what do you mean now? They're like, this is what I go by now. I'm like, you were something different 2 weeks ago, and then something completely different 3 months before that. Like, just stick with your fucking name. Like, your name isn't the problem.
Yeah.
Your name is not the fucking problem.
You're spending too much time thinking about your fucking name.
Yeah.
And I mean, everybody goes, that's like dumb young comedy shit that like I would love to shit on, but like I know specifically the benchmarks of where I did and I still do a bunch of cringy shit.
Absolutely.
But like I also have like material to back it up now.
The name thing will always, I don't care where I'm at.
Name, merch, fucking.
But there's a difference between like, oh, my name's Michael Kuski. I go by Michael Ernst because that's my middle name. That's completely different than my name's Michael Kuski. Call me Michael Motorcycle. Yeah. Like, that's
Larry the Cable Guy.
Yeah. That's way fucking, that's like the one that fucking works.
Well, that was like a character that he would call into a radio station. Like, so his name is like Dan something.
Yeah.
And like, so like he got popular from that radio thing. But like, that was one of I forget who it was. I always give it to Greg Giraldo. When they did like the roast and they're like, Larry the Cable Guy is your best character. It's way better than Dan the comedian, because that was like his real name.
Yeah.
And it was just like it's one of those like nice cutting like, but that's one where like he tried to be like his own name and then he fell into a character.
I'd rather
and now he's like selling out football stadiums.
Yeah, he's fall into it. Don't. It's like giving yourself a nickname. Don't fucking do it.
Yeah.
No one likes you. Like, hey, call me. I don't even know. Like, there is no good nickname I could think of right now. But okay, call me.
Well, I'll still feel gross now because like my whole like every single whoisrayroberts.com, at whoisrayroberts on Instagram, at whoisrayroberts on Twitter. You can follow me on all of those things. It'll be linked in the thing. Like, but like I, do you like how I did that?
You just give me so much more work to do.
No, but like I hate I hate that part of it because like I could have gotten Ray Roberts comedy. I could have gotten any of those things, but like I was like, oh, this is gonna be a cool like marketing thing at some point. And now like 6 years later, I'm just like, I don't like. It's fine. Like I like it, and I'll still like keep going with it. But it's like now I'm like stuck in that. If for whatever reason I hate it, like now that I'm not getting like any real steam, but like people are like now kind of starting to follow.
And at the end of the day, though, like if
they'll find it,
your material backs it up. Who the fuck cares?
Right,
what your
but
name
it's
is?
also like at this point, like people will know. Like with my buddies, it's like an inside joke of like, oh, who is Ray Rock? Like it's just like because I've had it like since like day one. I like put energy into like the branding of it instead of like writing, and you're just like it's almost like a dumb reminder of like how stupid it is
or how far you've come.
But it's also that, and that's like a cool part of it of like this is how much further I've come, and I at least know it's stupid. Like that's the fun part is like making that full
turn.
As long
as you're not like super proud of like the dumb things you did year one, you're like, all right, then you're good.
Like I had a T-shirt like 3 months into doing comedy.
Yeah,
I didn't have shows to sell T-shirts at. Like, what the fuck am I doing?
Dude. Oh, boy. All right. Well, we'll see where we're at in 2 years.
Yeah.
Hopefully we don't have to do this in an apartment.
We're a studio?
I was thinking maybe like a garage again. I did this in a... I'm constantly upgrading. I did this in my mom's garage, and now I'm in my own apartment.
Oh, now you want your own garage.
Yeah, that'd be cool.
That's kind of the dream. Like, anytime... Like, I don't...
Like my own, I don't want to pay for a studio. This will never be a studio show.
We're doing a whole second podcast right now. We need to cut it. We can have this conversation.
Yeah. All right. You want to wrap this now?
Yeah,
I gotta edit this.
Yeah. No, just leave it. We're not editing.
No, I have to go back and just go. All right, Ray's talking, Michael's talking.
Yeah, you got to do the fucking video.
Yeah.
I don't do video.
You ever want to? You have access to 3 cameras.
I've got every single. I put the fucking camera on so I can see myself while I'm doing it, just on my like front facing camera on my computer.
So you have video of it.
There's hours of video.
Are we starting another podcast right now? All right, we're done. Fuck this.